Tip number 31 is about asking for referrals. I think this is a very, very important thing, and I think it needs to be done every time the customer is ready to leave. It can also be used as a redirect to direct their attention away from the money they spent to whether or not they would actually recommend you. And by asking them if they would recommend you and making it conditional upon whether or not you did a great job, you're actually helping them remember that referrals are important to you, and it will also increase your online recommendations from your client. Now, what we're talking about is a conditional program that's very formal to ask every one of your customers to refer family and friends. At the end of the transaction, after you've taken the customer's money and you have that money sitting here before you let the customer go, you say something like, "Hey Michael, before I let you go, will you promise me something?" And here's the response you're going to get. "Well, Cecil, it depends," or "Sure, Cecil, no problem at all. If we did a good job on your car today, do you mind referring us to family and friends?" The answer will be yes or no. There's no other answer. And most of the time, in fact, I don't think I've ever had no here. The customer says, "No problem." I hand them 2 business cards with their name on them, written on the back of the business card, so that when they hand that out and it comes back in, I can do something nice for the customer. Now, here's some things about asking for referrals. Never give away work or discount work. Don't give them $20 towards their next oil change or a free oil change and their friend a free oil change, because in that instance, it feels uncomfortable for a lot of people, because what you're doing is you're buying their family and friends. Remember, I said make it conditional. If you make it conditional upon doing a good job and you do your follow-up call 3 days after they've been in to make sure that we did a good job, and you remind them that they were going to refer you when they tell you, yes, you did a good job, now that's not uncomfortable. That's based on the fact that you and I have a promise with each other. When someone comes in that has been referred to you, make sure that you send your customer a thank you. Now, what I like to send was cookies or brownies or some kind of treat for them, and we did it through the mail. And the program we used was send out cards, because you can send brownies, cookies, things like that. For about $15 to $20, you can send something pretty nice to your customer, your client. Make sure that there's a handwritten thank you note that goes along with that. And the other reason we use send out cards was because you can, they take samples of your handwriting, and you can actually send a handwritten note with a thank you. Send them movie tickets if you know they like movies. If you know that they have a favorite restaurant, they like, say, Mexican food, send them to the local Mexican food restaurant, make a deal with the owner there to get some tickets or some certificates for dinner for 2, and depending on how much money they spend, vary what you send them. But make sure that you have a formal program to ask your customers for recommendations, and make sure that at the end of every sale, at the end of every visit, that your customer is being asked by your service advisor to refer family and friends. And then mention it when you do your follow-up call. Follow-up calls are meant to find out whether or not we did a good job, but they're also a great place to ask for that referral a second time and make sure they get referrals. Now, when I took over the last shop I ran, we had a referral program where we were giving out, I think, $20 towards your next oil change if you recommended somebody, and we basically weren't getting any referrals. It was almost non-existent. When we put this in place and we started asking for referrals and sending brownies and cookies, we got so much positive feedback, and our referrals went up to almost 20% of our new customers. So they went up dramatically. So this is something that we recommend, and make sure that you do it again and again and again. Create that consistency, create that habit with your service advisor to be asking for referrals from family and friends. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this week's tip. For more information on the concepts we discussed, check out our upcoming classes at www.ifrabe.com/classes, or listen to the Leading Edge podcast at institutesleadingedge.podbean.com, where we discuss business topics just like this one with a panel of industry experts. You can also contact us whenever it's convenient, and we'll set up a free consultation on how the Institute can help you better your business, your life, and the industry as a whole. We'll see you guys next week.